The year is 1926. Calvin Coolidge is president. Charles Lindbergh and his Spirit of St. Louis are preparing to make history. Babe Ruth is swatting towering home runs. And in the small town of Sobieski, Wisconsin, Joe Pomprowitz works in his family's general store. The oldest of 7 children, Joe realized that the store's income might not be enough to support his widowed mother and his 6 brothers and sisters. Of all the diversified means Joe had used to earn a few dollars here or there, he decided that trucking was the coming thing. So with $200 from his mother in hand, Joe went to the bank and borrowed enough money to buy a used truck. Soon, encouraged by his close friend and future bride, Helen Vanderlinden, Joe gambled and purchased a second truck.
I had lots of nerve. And I told him, go ahead, because I knew he was a real smart guy. And I thought he's going to be successful, because I knew I could tell.
By 1935, Helen and Joe were married. And from its one truck beginning, what Helen named LCL Transit now had 10 trucks with 15 employees. The less-than-a-carload company was hauling for nearly every cheese processing plant in the upper Midwest. It wasn't easy. Roads were often dirt and gravel and became mud pits after a rain. The trip from Green Bay to Chicago could take more than a day. In the winter, to make the trip in unheated cabs, drivers had to wear 3 sets of long underwear. And yet the customer needs were met. It was that commitment to customer service which led to a long relationship with Kraft Foods.
Well, Kraft did an awful lot for us. We started hauling for them, and they told us that they could keep one truck busy for us, you know, and Joe could buy another one and buy another one, and by the time he had a bunch of them, he had their cheese over there the next morning, real early in the morning, and they just couldn't get over that. They didn't think it would be possible for anybody to do that.
Together, guided by the principles of hard work and customer service, Helen and Joe became pioneers in the trucking industry and set a wonderful example for daughter Joan.
Oh, they were a wonderful team. He was a risk taker and the entrepreneurial spirit, and he was a natural engineer. I think that you'd call that native mechanical ability. She gave a financial stability to the company because she had the business sense, whereas my father had the engineering, entrepreneurial, move the freight sense.
It seemed natural for Joan to enter the business. She grew up watching her parents work together as LCL operated for a number of years out of the family home in De Pere. Many of her earliest memories involved the trucking industry.
It was a fabulous experience as a young girl. The truck drivers were wonderful. They were my friends, and they even had truck drivers for babysitters on occasion. So they were part of my growing up, and the trucks were part of my growing up.
The most serious test to date for the LCL family came on February 9th, 1942. Early in the morning, a raging fire consumed the building in downtown Green Bay, which had just recently been built to house the LCL offices and garage. The fire tested the strongest of wills, but it proved what strong friends LCL had as customers, and it strengthened the spirit of determination within the company. The next generation of family owners, Joan and her husband Bob Schaup, took LCL into a new era of transportation, tailored to the customer's needs. Small cheese plants were becoming a thing of the past, and government rules and regulations hit the trucking industry hard. LCL adapted to these changes, with the Schaups leading the company and the industry in new directions throughout the second half of the 20th century.
We looked at the regulation, and we anticipated the problems about 5 years before it actually happened. We started to diversify. We formed some new small companies, tried to get little pockets and areas that we could have a niche, which we've been fairly successful in doing.
Today, LCL Transit has authority to operate in 48 states and Canada. The most modern and efficient equipment in the industry is used to meet the high standards required in the handling of liquid food products. Our fleet is now equipped with the latest in satellite technology. This enables us to keep constant track, 24 hours a day, of the exact location of every truck in our fleet. In an instant, drivers can communicate anywhere, at any time, directly with LCL driver managers, customer service, or dispatch. At the same time, instantaneous temperature monitoring ensures the safety of the food product. But even with advances in technology, we know our reputation is based on our proven record of service. We also know our future depends on our continuing commitment to our customers. That commitment now continues in the third generation of family ownership.
Well, customer service has been the foundation of our company since it started, and I don't believe that'll ever change, because we value our customers, and I think that value creates a long-term commitment between both parties, and that's how we've succeeded in the trucking industry.
LCL Transit is proud of our past, and we look to the future with the hopes of building on our tradition as a family company.
I think the day that we had our first child, it crossed my mind, my wife and I would like to see it happen. Or I'd like to see our children and my brother and sister's children have the opportunity to make it into the fourth generation.
Each year brings challenges to the LCL family, just like it did for Helen and Joe Pomprowitz many years ago. But with the support of our customers and employees, LCL Transit will continue to build on our history of one of the finest transportation companies in the food industry.